Hi, welcome to Digital Dialogue. I'm Lauren.
And I'm Caitlin.
And on this week's episode, we're going to be talking about really common accessibility questions that we get like all of the time. And we are going to do our best to provide solutions.
We're also going to play a little game.
But before we jump into that, it is spoopy season.
It is.
So,
happy early Halloween.
yes. So what is your favorite Halloween candy? / memory, if you'd care to share.
Oh, goodness. I like all kinds of candy.
How do you feel about candy corn, by the way?
I do not like candy corn. Okay. And I do not understand people who do.
Okay. That's hurtful.
Oh, you like candy corn then?
I don't like it. I don't like it. I have this thing where I have to like obligatorily buy a bag of candy corn every fall, and I like without fail only make it through about 25% of that bag before I have to throw it away, because like it's like there's a part of me that like has to have it every fall. But then when I have it, I'm kind of like,
there's no part of me that could even tell you what it is.
Yeah.
Like, is it toffee? Is it chocolate? Is it
wax? Candle wax?
Yeah, like I don't have a clue. Need to go see if I can find like a how it's made video on candy corn.
I think it is honey flavored. I think that's what it's supposed to be.
That's why I don't like it. I do not like honey.
You don't like honey like in like the pure like honey form?
No.
Really?
No, because my dad buys the like local organic honey.
Ooh.
And he's sent some home with me to flavor like tea and coffee and stuff like that. And I opened the jar and that's as far as I got because the smell was another level for me, insane.
What if it was just like the kind that's like in the Little Bear where it's been pasteurized and all that kind of?
I don't know. I've never tried that. I need to.
I have some in my office.
Okay.
So if you'd like to. Yeah. No, I love honey. Big fan. My grandfather was a beekeeper. Yeah.
I love that. That's the cutest thing.
I know. As far as candy goes, I love all candy.
I know, me too.
I don't do a Necco wafer. I don't like those things.
No.
Otherwise, I'm pretty open.
I will say the bag of candy I opted to buy for trick-or-treaters this year was a giant bag of lemon Pez because I love lemon Pez.
Really?
But only the lemon ones.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that to get here.
Yeah, that's gonna be so fun.
Yeah.
And like other houses are not gonna have Pez.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird one.
Right, that's awesome.
Which that's like, come on, that's my MO, I guess. I bought my nieces those little poppets to put in their little trick-or-treat bags.
What is that?
You know, I don't know. It's like this big fidget thing that's out there now.
Oh, the little, like, they're almost like grids or whatever with the things that you pop.
Yeah.
Okay,
they're bubble thingies.
Yes.
So, I bought them those, and then I'll put some, because I'm sure I'll probably get them some candy bars or something, too. Because, like, I will only have a handful of trick-or-treaters come. We don't really have people we don't know, so I usually just make them little baggies of goodies.
Oh, that's so sweet. Aunt Katie's the best.
Yes.
She's got the good stuff. What is your favorite Halloween memory?
Oh, that's pretty easy for me. I have two. One is just a really quick pass by, I'm going to tell you. Elementary school fall festival. Like where they make the hallway a haunted house, but it's elementary school, so it's like, you know, haunted house.
You're right.
But I always remember those. Those were so much fun. But Halloween's kind of a thing in our family. Like we really enjoy it and have fun. My aunt is Halloween queen. Her house, she decorates for Halloween like some people decorate for Christmas. There's like a whole graveyard in the front yard. But anyway, my favorite times for Halloween is when twice now. So the first time we did this, it was me and my younger cousins. We dressed up all spooky and did like a photo shoot.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
And so, like dark makeup, we may or may not insert a picture. I think we might could do that. And so I didn't really take those, but I was in them, and it was a lot of fun. Like it was my mom's idea. Like we went all out. Then a couple years ago, I was younger then, but a couple years ago, my aunt, Halloween Queen aunt, reached out and she was like, "Hey, I want you to come take some pictures of me and my best friend for Halloween." And they did it up good. It was so cool. It was so much fun taking pictures because they were all like fake blood and like slashed tops, and like it was so cool. So cool. They were cool. So that's my favorite. I love doing stuff like that.
I think my favorite memory would be, like a school put on like fall festival in the gym, and, you know. I just remember there was like, I was wearing a Belle costume, which, you know.
Belle's the best.
I mean, and so I was wearing a Belle costume and I was bobbing for apples.
Oh my goodness.
And I actually did it. Like I actually got one, and I felt I felt so cool that I could do that. I don't know, because I guess I thought like that was going to be a really hard thing to do, and then when I did it, I was like, yes, I did it, and I'm like 4 or whatever, and I'm like,
That's low-key terrifying. I don't think I realized people actually did that.
yeah.
I can't imagine just sticking my face in water, opening my mouth, and trying to bite an apple.
Right, and they're all bobbling around.
Yeah,
and
like
it's
that's not something I could do.
So, Caitlin,
Lauren.
let's play a game.
Yay! Okay, I've been so excited about this.
Okay.
Because it's so weird, and it's probably not going to make much sense. But that's, that's what's happening. So Lauren and I have both picked out a painting, kind of more obscure paintings that we don't believe the other is very familiar with. So what we're going to do is we've both written out alternative text for these paintings. And so without seeing each other's paintings, we're going to read the alternative text, and then we're going to show the painting, and we'll put it on the screen in YouTube. After, we won't put it on until we announce what it is so you can play along. But we're going to see if what Lauren envisioned in her mind's eye, how close it comes to the painting that I show her.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do this.
So, okay. And we are not art history anythings, so just putting that out there. Okay. So, humanoid profile, mid-step, center stage, holding a basket in front of him with one hand, the other hand is behind. Stars and curtains in the background with stage lighting. Humanoid is bald, tongue out, non-human ears, hunched shoulders, broad shoulders, no clothes.
Wow. Well, there's an image in my mind.
Let's see what you're thinking.
Okay. Oh.
And so I chose The Ghost of a Flea by William Blake.
Okay. You described everything very well. Mm-hmm. I think in my head it was more like further back.
Okay.
And also less stylized. So there's a lot of like, I was thinking just in terms of like more like clean lines almost. Because there's a lot of fine.
Yeah, like sketchy.
Sketchy, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, and that's really cool too, because that's something that would definitely need to be addressed in a art history class.
Right.
That I didn't think of.
Right. Okay, it's my turn.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Caitlin prepared. Let me just say, Caitlin prepared and wrote out her alt tag. I did not. So there's a woman facing away from you.
Okay.
Right, in the middle of the painting. She's in a long white dress with a black belt
Okay.
just above her waist. She's got long red hair flowing down her back. And in front of her, so what is actually in the background of the painting, it's kind of divided into thirds. And the middle third is smaller and is kind of a little bit wavy. And it is the darkest in tone of the thirds.
Okay. Well, I definitely have a vision in my head.
Okay.
Okay. It is not what I was thinking. Again, though, I think it goes back to style. First of all, I was thinking the thirds were more even, but I was still thinking they were like flat.
Yeah.
But then the waves were inside it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a really cool painting, though. It's very like simple. So what is that painting?
So I chose Young Girl on a Jetty by Edvard Munch. But the thing that was getting me is it is intuitive for me to start describing colors, right? You want to say the blue thing. I said black belt, red hair,
You have
right?
to in art. Because see, for mine, color wasn't very applicable because everything was the same tone.
Yeah, it was tonal.
I think, though, you still have to put color in there because, just because you are vision impaired does not mean you're totally blind. And some people who are blind went blind later in life so they can remember color.
That's true.
So I think it's important to still put it in there.
Yeah.
And even I'm sure individuals who have, and of course I don't know this by any means, but I'm sure that individuals who have never been sighted have some idea of what it means. Some kind of construct maybe.
Yeah.
We should get someone on here who can speak to that.
Yeah.
That would be really cool.
That would be very interesting.
I do think color is important. I think you have to put it in there.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. Because if you're thinking about it in terms of maybe somebody who's utilizing the alt text just because they're driving down the road and they're listening, then those colors are still meaningful in the description.
Absolutely. But now that does bring me to another question.
Yeah.
That actually came up last week and that I said I wanted to talk about in the podcast.
Yeah.
So I work with students. They call in if any ticket for Blackboard needs to get escalated, it comes to me. So when I'm talking to students, I will a lot of the time use color to describe things. For instance, the one that came up last week was I will say to students, okay, go to the blue menu on the left side of the screen. So because I don't know who I'm speaking to on the other side of the phone.
Right.
They're not disclosing anything to me. So am I being accessible and inclusive when I say that? Should I not describe things as blue? Should the menu on the left side of the screen be enough?
Well, it does feel like it's an important thing to include. It goes back to using color alone to emphasize meaning. You're not saying the blue menu.
So if I was just saying the blue menu and not saying the blue menu on the left,
Right.
it would be a different conversation.
That's how I feel about it.
Okay.
I'd like to hear anybody else's opinions on that.
Yeah, me too.
Or if you have kind of similar things in your LMS. But yeah, I think that that's okay because I feel like maybe widely that helps people identify what you're talking about, but you're also putting in a directional statement there. So that works. I think that's okay. So I think that's a pretty perfect segue to kind of the second part of our podcast here, which is where we talk about really common accessibility questions that we get like all the time.
Yes.
Especially dealing with color. So one of those is, how can I call out important information if I'm not supposed to use color or if I'm not supposed to use bold and italics? So
You're also not supposed to change the font size.
right. 12 and above.
But the same all the way through, unless it's a title or a heading.
Right. In which case, use those styles. Okay. All right. So bold and italics are fine, but you may want to go into how can I format this in such a way where I'm maybe giving the really important things that I'm wanting to call out, maybe I'm giving them their own section, like a frequently asked questions section, or I'm putting those things in bullet points, maybe towards the end of my welcome announcement or something like that. So there are different ways of formatting things so that it draws the reader's attention to that section and to that information.
And something I learned, because I have a technical writing background, that was my cognate in college. And something that we learned and was really pushed a lot was where your reader's eyes go. So if you're looking at a web screen of any kind, you tend to read from the top left all the way to the top right, and then you will also read all the way from the top left to the bottom left. But where your eyes go the least is the bottom right. So if you think about that as like a fadeaway, when you're structuring your course, keep that in mind. And even when you're structuring documents, if you have images that are not as prevalent, make sure the images are in that bottom right corner, because that's where the text gets skipped the most.
That's very interesting. So another question that we get really often is if I can't use colorful text, which again, we recommend black, unless it's a link, in which case it's blue automatically, and that's fine. So if I can't use colorful text, how can I jazz up my online course? Because I think that's why a lot of instructors use color and colorful text in particular, is because they want to make their class more fun. And I love the heart behind that. But
I have maybe an unpopular opinion about this.
Okay.
I don't think it's necessary to jazz up your course. I mean, maybe that's wrong, but I do not believe, and I think I may have even said this before, but colorful text is not enough to engage your students. If your course is not engaging your students, then that's like a whole other conversation.
I have a very similar opinion on that. I am actually very anti-picture in a course as well. Pictures obviously have a place in PowerPoints and in Word documents, PDFs, and things like that. But as far as like in the LMS themselves, embedded in like a folder description or in just an item or something like that, there are obviously going to be times when that's very much necessary. But if it's for decoration, it's another barrier for me to kind of skip over in order to like find the reason why I need to click on that folder. If there's like just an extra image there, that doesn't help me.
That's a really good point though, because when you were talking, I was preparing to disagree with you. But then the more when you were pointing out that it's decorative, it is just something to look over.
Yeah.
You know, you're just trying to get past that to find the disseminated information that you need.
I'm clicking into my content and I need to find week 6. Well, if each weekly folder has a different picture, even if it is associated with that week's theme or that week's content, it's just something else for me to try to work through in order to, there's week 6, you know. I would recommend removing those decorative images from the LMS. Something that I do think can be a way of jazzing up your course is using a course cover, which in our version of Blackboard actually pulls through as a course banner as well.
Yes.
That is kind of up and out of the way. It kind of remains at the top of the screen. It gives your course a bit of visual interest, but it never weasels its way into the content or anything like that.
Those are also really fun to make.
They are super fun to make.
Which makes me think, I don't know if we have picked out a tech corner this week, but I think you know, based on that, what it could be.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we could talk about that.
We'll get there.
Another way that you can jazz up your course and make it your own, make it identifiably your own, is just think about the organization of the course itself. That can speak a lot to how a course is perceived by the user. So if your things are incredibly well organized, incredibly well labeled, all of your content folders are the same from week to week or from unit to unit, that makes a very memorable course. That's what I would love clicking into that course.
It's kind of like you remember two courses. You remember the one that was super easy, and not easy as in, easy A, but like
Right.
easy to navigate, easy to find stuff. You remember that course, and then you also remember the needle in the haystack courses, where you're hunting for every little thing.
Exactly. So then another question is, how can I build something that's accessible from the start? And I think primarily that's in terms of like documents. How can I build an accessible document from the start?
Headings.
Use those styles from the beginning. Really start in Word and kind of work as you go. Make sure you're using that accessibility checker that's already built into a lot of Microsoft Office programs.
And we've talked about that in a previous podcast.
Right. And I would also recommend, if you're talking about building an accessible course overall, if you're using a lot of third-party publisher, maybe PowerPoints or PDFs, or even videos, make sure that those things are accessible. So make sure that the pictures in those documents are alt tagged. Make sure that those videos are captioned. A lot of the times they are. Sometimes, though, they are not. So you'll be responsible for alt tagging those pictures or those graphs or those tables. You may even need to recreate those tables if it's more like a picture of a table and not so much an actual readable inline table.
And I just want to add this because it's hitting me that some people may not know. I think most people will, but I think if you're brand new to this game and you're trying to get in and learn how to create things, how to create a PDF, you start in Word. If you start in Word, use all the correct headings and build your document that way, then how you make a PDF is you save that Word document as a PDF. All the headings stay there. Images, alt text, anything like that you've added, stay there. But if you're curious about how to create a PDF, if that's the format that you need to be in, that's how you do it. You start in Word.
And it's easy peasy. Like Caitlin said, all you have to do is save it. Save it as a PDF and all those things pull through. Oh, another thing that kind of speaks to, like, how do I build an accessible document but also make things kind of jazzy? If you are building, I get this question a lot. So if you're building a PowerPoint, I still recommend doing black text on white, of course. That's just the most accessible color combination for text and background color.
Oh, but even I'm sitting here like a black on white PowerPoint.
The worst. I still like to put decorative elements, but keep your pretties, whatever those little decorative elements are, keep them to the edge so that they are away from the main text and body of the PowerPoint. It still adds a little bit of visual interest, but it doesn't take away from the content itself. Oh, I will also caution against white text on a black background because of readability. Technically, right? If we're talking about technicals, it is like that perfect contrast ratio.
Yeah.
Right? It is. But I am somebody that finds it difficult to read white text on a black background. Like my iPhone stays in the regular mode. It's not on dark mode.
Oh, really?
And I know that most people prefer dark mode. But I like to have that white background and that black text.
Can we put a YouTube poll in here? Because I'm just curious. Because mine's in dark mode.
Most people I know have it in dark mode.
I wonder if that's true, though, if most people have it in dark mode.
Okay, we will try.
If not, just leave us a comment and let us know what you use.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you don't see one that pulls up, you can still answer. You can still play along. And the last one is, how do I make a link accessible? Okay, so think of what the link is actually linking to, and then use that as the, what's it called? The link title basically how that link appears in the text,
Yes.
right? So in the email or in the document
You
or
have the
whatever.
title and then you have the URL.
Right, there you go. So the URL is the nasty, right? So that's the https://www. Blah, 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 blah. So don't leave that as the title, because a lot of times it will just kind of auto-populate as the title. Don't leave that as the title. Change it to whatever you're going to be linking to.
But don't change it to click here.
Don't change it to click here. Avoid really ambiguous descriptors like that, because that's not going to help. If somebody is using a screen reader, that's not going to help them identify where they're actually linking out to.
Because if you have a document that says, click here to view the syllabus, when they're hearing click here, they're not hearing syllabus because that's on down the line. So then you have to backtrack and find that click here to know that it was the syllabus. So it just gets really convoluted when you're trying to use a screen reader. So no linking click here.
And two other things that I wanted to mention. This goes back to our alt tag game from earlier. Did you know that you can copy a picture that has text in it that doesn't have any alt tag attached to that picture? You can copy that picture into OneNote and then right click on it, and you should have a prompt to copy the text from the picture.
Cool.
So it picks up the text, and then you can very easily paste that into a Word document or whatever else.
You can actually do that on your iPhone now if you've updated to iOS 15.
All right, so
this week's Tech Corner is going to be a free screen reader. But first, I want to tell you what I was hinting at earlier in the episode, Canva. We're not going to talk about it a lot right here because, wink, next season, you'll probably hear a whole episode on Canva because we utilize it daily in our office. And we're not going to tell you what next season's theme is, but that's a little hint. So if you're interested, go look. It's a great graphic design tool. Even if you are not a graphic designer, if you do not have any of those skills, Canva will help you get there. Also, if you're an educator and you have an EDU account, you can unlock some of the Canva Pro features for free as well. So definitely go check it out and stay tuned for season 2 for more info on Canva.
yes, we love Canva. We love Canva so much.
Obsessed.
Love Canva. Like Caitlin said, if you're kind of a newbie when it comes to design, that is perfectly okay. I was somebody that had a tiny bit of experience with some more involved graphic design things like Illustrator and Photoshop, but I had a need to use a similar type of product and didn't really have the time to teach myself Photoshop or Illustrator over again because it had been such a long time since I had used it. So I was able to just jump into Canva and start creating right away.
And Lauren is a whiz.
Oh no, I just have fun. Something else we wanted to mention as our tech corner were some free screen readers. So I found a list of 10 free screen readers that are available. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is, and I, neither Caitlin nor I can attest to how these guys work in comparison with some of the other products that I'm sure you're more familiar with, like JAWS. JAWS can be expensive. JAWS is a paid product. If you get even an educational license for that, it can be upwards of $100 per year. If you get a perpetual license, that's closer to $1,300. And so it is expensive. And something that this website mentioned, which is definitely going to be linked below, is the idea of making sure that these things are universally accessible, meaning that there isn't a cost associated with them. So there is a list of 10 free screen readers in this article that I hope will help you. Even if you are a sighted person and don't need a screen reader,
It's good for anyone to experience a screen reader.
Absolutely. If you're an instructor and you just want to check to see maybe how a document gets read by a screen reader, or to see how your course in your LMS gets read by a screen reader, I think this is a really good resource. Well, that's all we've got for today. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, and remember, we have a email address.
And a SpeakPipe account.
Oh, that's right. We haven't talked about SpeakPipe yet.
So all you have to do is click on the link in the description box below, and you can leave a voice message for us. And then maybe your question or your message or your comment or your suggestion will make it into a future episode.
And guys, this is the halfway point. We have 8 episodes planned. This is number 4. And we're hoping to do a bonus 9th episode in December. And that is where I think a lot of the speak pipes will be.
Oh, I hope so. I hope so.
But they could come sooner.
Aha! You never know with us.
You never know.
I mean, we're pretty tricky.
But our email and the speak pipe will be in the description below. And leave us one. We're really excited to hear from you guys and get you guys involved in the podcast. We want to hear from you. We're just really excited to be here and be doing this.
Thank you so much for joining us for this week's episode. We will see you in the next one.
Bye.